And you got really strong colors. Like, how do you go about selecting the colors?
From sneakers, you know, like Jordans, my favorite Jordans. I'm not really trying to ever show emotions through my paintings. I'm putting my emotions on paintings.
Can you share your biggest dream with me?
Let's go, Rush!
Malachi, welcome to the show, man.
Yes, sir. Nice to be here.
So congratulations on your first exhibition. It looks really good.
Thank you. I feel honored. Like, it's a big deal.
No doubt.
Hopefully there's a lot more after this.
So look, first thing, I want to get to understand your name, Malachi. Where does that come from? What's the meaning behind it?
So Malachi was something that I got called growing up by my family, my closest family. I don't know why they called me it really. Nobody else but them calls me it. So I felt like me being called Malachi for this just had so much power behind it, you know? I'm revealing a real side of me to everyone else. And now they can call me Malachi.
And you got an interesting mix. Like, where's your family from?
Half African American, half Native American Indian, Cherokee, and my mom was full Scandinavian.
Oh, wow.
So like full Ragnar.
All right, man. So let's break down your art a little bit. When it came to painting, was that always what you wanted to do, or did you pursue other artistic forms before you reached painting?
Before I realized that I was like this kind of an artist, I think I was more into fashion, which is an art in itself. But that's what caught my eye first. And yeah, just street fashion. Something that was so normal to me. Like every day I'd wake up, I'd be, what shoes I'm gonna wear today, you know, which outfit I'm gonna wear today. I've been doing that since I was like in year 3, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it was that. And then the art came when I someone kind of told me what it was. I didn't know what it was because it was just expression. So it was more just like, this was a release. I didn't see it as art.
Well, speaking of fashion, you did quite a bit of modeling, right?
Yeah, I did. I tried.
Yeah, is that something that you want to pursue more, or you done with the modeling?
Not at all. I don't align with it, you know? I just feel like they promote a real false standard of beauty.
So look, in terms of painting, how long have you actually been painting for? Is that something you picked up here in Australia, or you've been doing that for a number of years?
Here. It was through COVID when I was I was struggling really hard. I had nobody, I had no money, I wasn't getting paid because I'm a foreigner. So I had to like do something to keep my mind active, which was either play basketball, go back to my roots, or draw or paint, which is also my roots. I would do that as a kid, but like I didn't see it for what it was. I just did it because it felt good and it took me away from my reality, you know? So that's how I got back into it.
And you got a really unique style, man. It's very strong. Does it have like a meaning?
So all these things, the color comes on after I draw it in just black pen on white paper. For me, this style is just, I don't even know what I'm drawing or what I'm doing. My hand just goes. And it's just like when some people, when they're really stressed, they write in their diary to get their thoughts off of their mind. This is what I write and this is my diary, you know? But it starts off in black and white and then the colors come after. It's just weird. My hand guides itself. I think it's a real ancestral thing. It's not me. It doesn't feel like it's me. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going.
Let's say when you've got a blank canvas, do you have a particular like routine where you start with, like, or is it different with every painting?
I usually take it from a piece of paper that I drew down, because it's easier to just do in pen on a piece of paper, and I start anywhere. It just finishes, and then I transfer that to the canvas. Usually, to get it correct, I just project it on and then trace it, you know? But it starts off on a piece of paper, just like an A3 size. I just fill the whole thing, I brainstorm, and then I pick what I like out of it, or I pick the whole thing, and then I digitize it. Now it went from the paper to the iPad, so it's so much easier. I don't have to digitize it and vectorize it and all of that.
And you got really strong colors. Like, how do you go about selecting the colors?
From sneakers, you know, like Jordans, my favorite Jordans. I see colors, I guess, differently. They're like, when they mesh together, it's pleasing. So a lot of Jordans have that kind of aesthetic. So I just take it from them. Now I kind of do it on my own, because I kind of just exploring other ways of finding color schemes, but it started off with Jordans.
So which of these paintings is inspired by the Jordan color?
The one behind the camera. Yeah.
Which Jordans are there?
These ones.
What about the other colors like that aren't from the Jordans? Where do they come from?
Well, For instance, the one behind you, that was, I was eating M&Ms and I poured them out and I just saw these 4 beautiful colors and I'm like, wait, these go together so beautiful. And I just thought of that piece, right? Like I just thought, like my next piece, I'm gonna use this. It was just 4 M&Ms, all those colors, purple, yellow, orange, and green. Or if I'm playing pool, you know when you're playing pool, like you see all the colors on the table, sometimes the balls just align and you see something, it sparks, and like, oh, that's a good colorway right there.
That's cool, man. That's really interesting because, say, for me being a photographer, I look at things with a photographic eye. So that's really interesting hearing it from a painter's point of view.
It's different, but it's the same. It's kind of, it's just art, you know?
And I know that hip hop is a big influence in your life. Does hip hop play an influence in your paintings?
It's really hard to say because my paintings are so organic that I'm not really getting inspired by anything other than stress. Because when I'm stressed, I have to release, you know, I have to let it out. But I come from hip hop culture, you know, like I was raised in hip hop culture. So I feel like it has something to do with it. You know, I mean, the Jordans, how I started with doing the Jordan colorways, that is hip hop culture.
So in terms of hip hop, which artists have inspired you the most?
2 artists that got me through a lot. These 2 artists helped me become a man. Like they taught me how to be a man through their songs, because I guess I was kind of lonely in a lot of ways, so I wasn't getting taught proper. But Nipsey Hussle, of course, Nipsey the Great, is the most inspiring person. I think he's probably number 1. And number 2, Kevin Gates. I grew up in Louisiana. I grew up like an hour away from Kevin Gates was, and when I was younger, I was in year 7, listening to him on the school bus, just like, man, this dude is crazy, because he's so wise. And I love wisdom, you know, and I love it when they're sharing wisdom in a steezy way. You know, it's easy to the ear, and if you're catching it, it's like, oh man, like I'm taking bits and pieces out of this and I'm applying it to my life. But him and Kevin Gates are like my 2 top of all time.
That's cool. Well, I mean, Melbourne's a long way from Louisiana. How would you describe Louisiana for people that have never been there before?
In the US, New Orleans, which is the main city in Louisiana, it's the African-American like cultural capital, or one of the main cultural capitals for African Americans. So jazz was born in Louisiana. Like a lot of like culture that we have today a lot of it came out of like New Orleans, Louisiana. So it's a lot of vibes. It's a lot of crazy things going on, good food, great music. Melbourne is real calm, but it's also crazy at the same time. I think it's finding its identity. Louisiana has a strong identity. Like it doesn't need to find anything, it's already there.
All right, let's get into this piece, because
Yeah.
from what I'm aware, you told me before, this is inspired by Kanye West's album?
Yeah, Donda.
Donda, okay.
Yeah.
So break down this painting for me and explain exactly how Kanye inspired you with this.
The Donda album came out. I think I was going through some things where I was pretty stressed. Like I was dealing with things that I was dealing with, you know, in life, hardships, and Donda came out. I love Kanye West's albums. I love his music. And I just had it on repeat for like 2 weeks straight. And as I was expressing, you know, releasing, I just was hearing Donda the whole time. Like there was no other album. I would just repeat. And as I was drawing, listening to Donda, that's what came out. I can't really, like I think maybe the influence is subliminal, because to me it just feels all the same. It's just release, it's expression, but Donda was playing in my ear constantly the whole time. So I was just vibing to Kanye, you know?
So what kind of emotions are you trying to show in that painting exactly?
I'm not really trying to ever show emotions through my paintings. I'm putting my emotions on paintings. When people see it, they see different and they feel different. So I can't really say I'm trying to like show emotions through it, but it's just my emotions onto it.
How do you want people to feel when they look at that piece?
I just want them to feel like they're looking in a mirror on a spiritual level, because different people can see the same thing and see different things, but it's the same thing. And I can see something completely different from what they saw. So I think it's almost a reflection of themselves. Because to me, this is very spiritual.
And what about the colors on this one? Like what does the blues and the pinks and the blacks represent?
So the pink and the black and the gray, I saw in my head right away. When I finished the drawing and I was like, wow, this is cool. I'm gonna paint this one day. I instantly saw those 3 colors. But The painting itself, it's a bit more complex, so I have to add other colors to kind of balance it out. If it's just 3 colors, they will overlap on each other, and so I kind of trial and error with the white, with the blue in the background, and I just kind of got this because this looked the best. I did it like 3 different times.
Oh wow, okay.
With different colors, but this one stuck the best. But I always kept the black, the pink, and the gray.
And so how long does it take you from start to finish to create a piece like this?
To create a piece like this, like if I work constant, like 3 days. Because the detail is really hard to work with.
And what tools do you use? Like, is it paint, spray paint? Like, what have you got in there?
I spray paint the back completely, but I only learned that because I used to not do that. I used to draw it on and then paint like around it, and it took like 10 times longer. So I guess I just kind of evolved my process. The spray paint is, yeah, easy. I spray paint and then I do the line work and then I color inside the lines.
And do you feel comfortable calling yourself an artist, or do you prefer to call yourself a painter? What do you like to label yourself?
I'm an artist, but like this isn't the only thing I'm limited to, you know, in an art sense, like fashion. I love fashion. For now, I'm a painter, but I'm a creative, you know, I can do it. I feel like I can do a lot more.
Well, speaking of fashion, like, can we see a Malachi clothing brand in the future? Like, what do you, is that, you want to mix the 2 together?
Yes, of course. Like, that's something that's guaranteed. I just need to figure out how to do it on this first, then to be comfortable with it. So then I know what I'm doing, because I feel like clothes is a different level.
All right, well, to finish things off, can you share your biggest dream with me?
My biggest dream with the art, one day I want to paint murals all over the world and just have famous murals all over the world, get pretty well off, get comfortable because of it, and then go to the hoods and like the favelas after and do it for free and just give it back to them, you know? That's something I would love to do.